So the social media shit is really gotten to the point where it's just like I had to take a back seat from it because it's just like people just come up with this type of shit to where they're gonna every year it seems like people get a group and they decide they have a meeting and they start pushing shit. They like, yo, you know what? This is the next agenda or this is the next, category or the next thing we're gonna push for the whole year until next year till we find something else to push. Because since when did all you bitches stop being fast and everybody was getting groomed and everybody was getting, preyed upon and all this other stuff? Like all these women I vaguely remember all these women, back in my growing up in my millennial days when I was a little kid, all these little young girls that was fast, that was in these chat hotlines, talking to these 30 and 40 and 20-year-olds, meeting up with them, potentially getting, unalived or, SA'd. Now all of a sudden these girls are victims after they realize, they've been worn out and it's been to the point where it's like, oh, damn, I'm really a mother with 2 and 3 kids. I had a young age because I was hot and I couldn't control my sexual desire. And, I just didn't see anything wrong with me being 16, 13, and 14, talking to a 25, 24, 26, 30-something year old men, sometimes 40, 50-year-old men, having sex with them for money and stuff like that. Now, by all means, this is not me sticking up for these clowns. This is not me sticking up for these dudes. These dudes are straight assholes. These dudes are straight, the worstest scum on the earth. Like, they're equivalent to the gum on the bottom of a dirty woman's shoe. These dudes are terrible. So I'm not trying to seem like I'm trying to, be on the groomer side, because at the end of the day, even though these girls are fast in their hind parts, does not mean that gives you the right as a grown man to be out here trying to pick up or press up on a young lady that is teenage years. But back to the lecture at hand. So I don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. To the point where it's just like y'all try to rewrite history. Like, y'all taking this situation and just making it seem like nobody was fast. Nobody was hot in the hind parts. Nobody was out here secretly going out here seeking men that were older. I remember when I was in school, I knew girls that was around my age that would not give me the time of the day because I didn't have a car, I didn't have a house, I didn't have a job, or I wasn't selling dope. And they would deal with dudes that had all of these things, And they would look at me like I was a loser, or I was behind the game, or I didn't have any game whatsoever. And we're just going to seem like all of these women were groomed and they were all taken advantage of, and some of these women wasn't willingly trying to talk to these guys. Like, come on, man. Like, we got to be realistic with ourselves. In 2026, for the remainder of 2026, because it's about to come, after summer is damn near going to be over. But for the rest of this year, can we just be honest and stop trying to rewrite history and trying to make it seem like, what a duck is not a duck, and we're trying to call it a chicken, a rabbit, and a fox. If you were fast and you feel some type of way about it, or you was doing these nasty things and stuff like that at a young age, talking to these old dudes, just hold your weight. Take it. You feel me? We all make mistakes. That's just part of growing up and stuff like that. It would be way more commendable if you just came to somebody and just got on the social media and said, you know what? I was a little girl, I was, doing things that I should have been doing at a young age. I'm sorry. Not necessarily you're sorry. You're sorry for what you did with that person. That guy's still a creep, but I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing with that guy. I should have stayed in a child's place, and I'd be conducting myself with a guy that likes to deal with girls in an inappropriate manner. People will look at you a little more differently. Or people would look at you and not look at you sideways like, yo, really? We just not going to be honest right now? I don't know. Tell me what y'all think.